interesting. Welcome to the first freaking
Amicy studio.
The Amicy studio. All right, bro. We live, baby. Good morning. Sakpase.
What's going on, guys? My name's Alan.
And I'm Alex.
Welcome to Amicy channel.
Guys, listen, if you're not part of the Amicy gang, go ahead and click on that subscribe button below and join us and be a part of the squad.
Oh,
now,
God.
If you're new to the channel, if this is your first time checking out the channel, you're probably going, wow, these guys already have a set. No, this is a freaking, a year in the making?
Yes, sir.
So this is officially the first video that we're recording in this little set that we decided to build for you guys. If you guys are new to the channel, again, you probably haven't seen all of the other locations that we've been recording in. So because the channel got to the point where it grew, it can support itself, we're able to actually invest into a studio. So when this song came out, I was not in North Carolina. I was not here. So because if for the people that follow the channel and the journey that we have, I've been traveling as a nurse for like the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I'm leaving again in like, a week and a half at this point. So this song came out, and we don't listen to the songs unless we actually sit in here for the first time to actually check it out, because every song that we check on the channel is usually for the first time.
Yes,
so
sir.
Today we've got Tom MacDonald. And if you know this channel, Tom has his own playlist because we love the stuff that he does. So without further ado, we got Tom MacDonald, Fake Woke. I'm excited for this. So let's do what we're doing, do our best here, guys. Let's hop in this video. Let's get popping.
Let's get it.
I think it's crazy I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, cause
okay, here we go. He's already doing what Tom MacDonald does best here.
So
from the get-go, right? Here's what I'm gonna say is that I'm already realizing, like with Tom MacDonald, one of the things that he always does, I always want to say McDonald's.
McDonald's.
I know that I passed like 6 McDonald's on the way here. But one thing I've realized about Tom MacDonald is the fact that he's been able to kind of elevate himself from a lot of people that's in the exact same industry as him without having to clout chase like a lot of people that's in the industry. Right?
Yeah.
And the idea that he just kind of put out there is the fact that, like, oh, this person needs to be this way. If I mention race, it's a little uncomfortable. And it's the truth, because in the States, I know for a fact in the States, when race is mentioned, people automatically get into that zone of what's it called? Like you're targeting me. Because it's like, for me, when it like him bringing that to the forefront, I'm excited to kind of hear what a lot of the people that's actually on the other spectrum kind of like thinking about, because, bro, we're only 26 seconds in, and it's got to be a long video.
But could it be that, like, what's making him, like, blow up right now is because that he's touching up on the uncomfortable moments that people hate to talk about? I
think right now, especially in today's time, right, it's because a lot of people are still trying to do the same thing that they were doing before. Everybody had to sit at home and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And because they're trying to do it that way, they're the ones that don't want to address and actually talk about anything going on that's real. It's a lot of it's like fluff. And because he's always been somebody that has, from the mental health aspect that he talks about and all the other things that he discussed, he's always stayed true to himself, which is what's allowed him to blow up. So I think that's why he's growing.
Okay.
Is because he's always maintained the same level of honesty through everything that he does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to go back here. Let's go back here. Yes, sir. Hey, yo, DJ. Run back, Turbo.
Man. Okay.
Pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun.
Facts.
Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, cause you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel culture runs the world now, the planet went crazy. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got Me Too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need to change. They gave us tiny screens. We think we free because we can't see the
There's too much going on.
He gave so much information in that little segment that I'm like this. I was like, okay, I caught a lot of it.
Yeah.
But it's like the way he was spitting at it was like coming at me in such a way that like I wanted to be able to pause, but I was like, but the next phrase gonna come so strong. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back a little bit just so that we can address any of the things that kind of spoke to my head. Okay. Hey, yo, DJ, run back, Turbo.
Privilege, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got me too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need the chains. They gave us tiny screens. We think we free because we can't see the cage. They knew that race war would be.
So give us tiny screens so we could see the cage.
I like the way he took it, right?
They
never freed the slaves. They just gave you tiny screens because if you can't see the cage, because it's pause. Okay. I like what he just did there because you got to think about this situation based on a lot of things like in this country, like racism, right? Or let's say homophobia or whatever it is. Every single thing that could be negative, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't affect your life, then you don't really think it's a thing. So if you can't physically see the cage, is there a cage? Because everything's in the mind now, right? And that's kind of like I like the way he took it, right? Because that's what they really did. They gave you this different. You have your device. The cage is there. It's the mental cage, not the physical cage. But in order for it to, the mind is such a powerful place that if you can control the mind, you don't really need to physically do anything anymore.
Yeah.
You know what were you gonna say though?
I just understood what he just painted out about the cage being like through your phone. Yeah. Because like now everybody like we live in a technology world.
Yep.
Where everything is just like you see it on technology, like on TVs or on your phone.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you were saying about the, like in the hospital, like how all they're doing all day is just watching the news and just getting fed.
Yeah. The patients. Yeah.
So it's like they're already like getting.
You're getting programmed without realizing it because you just think because it's kind of like the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Alan wants to get a new car, which is like a 4Runner. And prior to that moment, he told us about the 4Runner. I could care less. You know, the 4Runner never made it to my mind. But then Alan says it, and I'm seeing it everywhere. It's the same thing, right? You're only focusing on the one thing that you're really focusing on, but you're getting so much input all day, every day. But it's still in your mind working in the subconscious all day. God dang, we're only freaking 52 seconds. All right.
Be the game they need to play for people to big teams. They use the media to feed the flame.
Yep.
They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. I think it's
facts.
Crazy how these people screaming facts, but they fake woke. Hate their neighbor cause he wears a mask or he stays home. Has a daughter, but his favorite artist said he slays hoes. Picks her up from school, music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue cause they choose what they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. I think Black Lives Matter was the...
Okay.
I know, I forgot, it's funny. There's a difference between hate speech and the speeches that you... Bro, this dude is giving so much information at this freaking thing.
But it's so true. It's like now we're going towards where it's like there's really not a freedom of speech no more. Because you get in anything you say, like us. There's things that you could say on a channel, right?
Yeah.
You say one word, the YouTube could pinpoint that one word you just said and just completely cancel
demonetize your entire channel.
Yeah, and it's just like I mean, we're not gonna say it, but it's just there's some people that, I mean, that's probably how they express themselves.
Yep.
Through those words, but the YouTube just like, oh, you said that, you're gone.
Okay, so on that topic,
okay,
right? But at the exact same time, could it be also right? Is that it's you said like the freedom of speech, right? Mm-hmm. It's freedom of speech. It's still a thing, but there's consequences in society.
Right.
I feel like the problem that a lot of people are dealing with right now is like if you look at the timeline, mm-hmm. right? Based on what the society was like at moments in time, right? Things were okay. Okay. But it's kind of like you cannot expect this. It's like people are expecting society to progress, but still be able to hold on to a lot of the different things that they enjoyed themselves to be able to do in the future tense, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So it's kind of like it's like we need more manly men, like that mindset. is what bred what toxic, a lot of toxic masculinity that you have today. You can't operate with that kind of mindset as much as you would be able to 40, 50 years ago. Now it's more of like people are focusing more on their mental self. Even though 40, 50 something years ago, the mental health didn't really matter. It wasn't, there's so many things because society is progressing. So free speech in a way does exist. It just depends on where you are living in this world.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at the same time, you could be in the United States. The United States, if you, like you say, you can have this free speech, but like if you live in an area where you already know what the president is kind of like, it's very like, you're not going to do anything negative because you're not going to say anything negative against them because you already know what the consequences of that action is. Versus here, you have the freedom to say whatever the heck you want to say.
But then there's some consequences.
But there's some consequences, but that consequences is not the same as
over. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it rolling here. I'm gonna have to go back here.
I already did.
Oh, you already went?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Well,
run it back, Turbo.
The mask or he stays home. Has a daughter, but his favorite artist said he slays hoes. Picks her up from school, music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue cause they choose what they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. I think Black Lives Matter was the stupidest name when the system's screwing everyone exactly the same. I just want to spend Thanksgiving Day with food in my family without being accused of celebrating native casualties. We got so divided, it's black and white and political. Republicans are bigots, libtards if you're liberal. There's riots in our streets and it's just getting worse. Y'all screaming deep on the police, y'all are genius for sure. They're underfunded already, they're way too busy to work. Order food and call the cops, see what reaches you first. Segregation ended, that's a lie.
Okay, we're going to have to go back here. Okay. See, the thing I like about Tom MacDonald is that he doesn't shy away from addressing a lot of issues. Well, okay, so the problem, I'm not a problem. What I will say on the different topics, right? Perfect example. I just left a mental health facility, like for a nursing home. That's where I was at. I was in a nursing home for 4 weeks. And the people that was in that nursing home were mentally on a whole different level. And they would call the police all the time, right? Now, as a police officer, those guys you see it all the time. They have the training that they need in order to handle people that's mentally gone. They do not have the training for it. But if the patient calls and goes, I'm going to kill myself, or the patient calls and goes, they're trying to kill me, the police shows up every single time. That's a waste of resources. So when people talk about things like defunding the police, if you don't like the title, okay, great. But for if you're looking at the budgets for a lot of the different police departments, you don't need a tank. Like so much. The whole problem is that people don't take the time to actually listen and understand what's being said. When they say defunding the police, because I feel like I have to freaking educate all the time. Yeah. If they say defunding the police, they're not saying we don't want any more police officers. They're literally saying take this unnecessary amount of funding that you're giving to those departments and invest it back to the communities. Because the reason why they need so much policing is because the communities are already hurting so much that just based on that breeds so much of the things that we see today. But because people don't take the time to understand what is being said, because they hear one word, they go, nah, I'm good. You can hear all lives matter, you shut your mind. You can hear Black Lives Matter, you shut your mind because you don't want to listen to anything else, right? If it doesn't connect and agree with you, right? And so with the different things that he said, that's what, sparked him to my mind, right? So it's like why a lot of times you like a different police departments, their fundings are going up by billions every year.
Well, communities are like,
who needs let's like this. Why do you need a bulletproof porta potty? Where do you think you are? You're in the United States of America that you need a bulletproof porta potty to fight. What are we doing here? So on that topic, yes. Again, the Black Lives Matter situation. If you come back with all lives matters, then that's. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to keep because I don't want YouTube to like that monetize the videos that we do. If you have a problem with the Black Lives Matter statement, that's on you. If you have a problem with the all lives matter statement, that's on you too. But take the moment to actually understand what's being said. Not talking about an organization. They're talking about a movement. Black Lives Matter. Period. Nobody's saying only Black Lives Matter. They're literally saying that everybody deals with this situation. It just so happens that the black individuals and the brown individuals are dealt differently in those exact same situations. What you got pulled over yesterday? Instant fear.
Yeah.
And you got pulled what, midnight?
Bro,
coming home from work.
Coming home from work. First thing he said was give me your license and registration. So my hand's already on the wheels, right?
Terrifying.
I'm already like, if I even touch it, then it's gonna be like, the consequences. So then I'm like, all right, I had to tell him, hey, I'm reaching in to get my registration to give it to him. And then he was like, okay. So he walks back there, comes back. He's like, were you drinking? And I was like, no, actually, I wasn't.
Did you have your scrubs on?
Yeah, I just came from
work. Why
work.
would you ask that question if you saw him full? Like, this is what we're saying. They're not saying that only Black Lives Matter. Breathe, baby, breathe. Black lives matter. White lives matter. Asians
matter.
Everything. Those people it's very simple.
But it's because it's like as soon as they tie Black Lives Matter to that organization, they completely shut off and they're just
take away from the organization and focus on the thing. Black Lives Matter. Defunding the police is important. They're not saying we don't want police. We need police because criminality exists. But the idea of giving billions upon billions of dollars to the exact same police departments every freaking year, while the teachers are making less than $30,000 a year, which is the ones that are educating the freaking next generation.
Yeah.
Your schools counselors, your mental health people. You don't even have school nurses in schools anymore. Like, that level of stupidity is what we're trying to say when they say defund the police. Instead of going, now, go, I might be childish mentally, right? And then go do some research of what it means to defund the police. I feel like I should put a pie chart. This
right
is
here.
what it means.
You should put it up there.
I'm
ready for you to remember.
I know.
Lying itself, that was a strategy to make us think they were trying to help.
Yeah,
they knew that racism was.
We have to go back here. There's so much I got said.
Call the cops, see what reaches you first. Segregation ended, that's a lie in itself. That was a strategy to make us think they were trying to help. They knew that racism was hot if they designed it to sell.
Yes.
Buy up every single box and divide us ourselves. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. They use violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working. That's like sleeping with a football team to try and be a virgin. Politicians are for sale and someone always makes the purchase. But you and I cannot afford it. Our democracy is worthless. If a man has mental illness, call him crazy. Say it silently. When country's going crazy, we accept it as society. Get sick and take a pill. When the side effects get you high, you get addicted like these rappers dying fighting with sobriety. Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen and women. How'd we let them make praying a microaggression? Instead of asking God for the strength to keep winning, we cheat to get ahead and then we ask him for forgiveness. Feminism used to be the most righteous of fights, but these days it feels like they secretly hate guys. I don't trust anyone who bleeds for a week and don't die. I'm just kidding, but everything else that I said is right.
This guy, bro.
They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Oh, shout out to Nova. Coming in through. Guys, that was Tom MacDonald, Fake Woke. Listen, if you're new to the channel, then you don't understand how we usually do things. We do not care how long our videos are because we actually love to sit here and react to the videos and then allow our mind to run. Now, our comment section is always, like, one of the dopest part about the channel is that you guys always have the ability to connect with us, whether it's on social media, whether it's on the comments. We'll read the comments and we'll try to respond as much as we can because we love having open dialogues. That's why we literally build our channel the way we did of not just quick reacting, because we want to be able to touch on as much as we can in order to actually kind of like allow the people that would never connect with us to get a chance to connect with us.
Yep.
Were you going to say something?
No, I was about to say that if you're commenting in the comments, talk to us like a grown up. Don't be like trying to cool like, oh, you blah, 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 or like getting mad about it.
Yeah.
If you disagree with us, leave it in the comments.
And we'll talk.
Yeah,
because we're adults. You know what I was just thinking just then when he said the line, the segregation never really ended. Da, 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 da. One of the things that I don't know what the movie is, or it's a real person in history. You guys, if you know this answer, please, for the love of God, put it in the comments for me. It's an individual that he worked in the political system. Right.
Okay.
And his job, like he was he was the one that worked with the presidents that will tell him, okay, or the politicians, okay, you can't say that word anymore. But if you say this specific word, it automatically ties in to black people, or it automatically associated with this kind of group of people, or it could be the Asians, it could be the Latino, it could be that. So whenever they were writing speeches for the politicians, they would utilize the different words because that was literally his job. Just like you have people that their job is to infiltrate governments and to crumple them so that the United States government or the Chinese government or the whatever governments can come in and then act like the saviors. Right? You have those people. If you don't think that's true, you are living under a rock. Okay.
But you got to. The crazy thing is you have to have the type of people to be as powerful as you claim to be.
Yeah.
You can't just be your greatest of all time without doing things.
There's a lot of heinous crimes but I think that's a lot of it goes back to the whole idea of like the patriotism of whatever country it is. Because if you can get people to believe of how much you need protection, then that's great. Because then you can tell those people to do whatever they have to do, because they'll always associate that to, but I was doing it for my country. Yeah. Right. You can, we have experience in this because we grew up in a whole different country in the United States at the exact same time. So we've seen them. We've talked to people. Yeah. It's crazy what people will do under the disguise of I'm doing it for my country. It's wild. Anyhow, guys, welcome to the Amicy Reaction Podcast. If you're not part of the Amicy gang,
you know what to do.
Go ahead and click on that subscribe button below and join us in at all times. Don't cheat yourself.
Love thyself.
And keep it Amicy. Peace.
I live inside my own world of make-believe.